I'm Nick, by the way.
Hello.
I'm doing a master's in Education What are you doing?
Hello, everybody.
Hello.
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 Hello, everybody. Welcome to my session. My name is Emanuela Fulli, and today I'll be making you a little bit bored for about an hour. I'm just joking. I want you to have the surprise effect after. That's why. So I set the bar very low. Everything will be better after that. The title is, as you can see, is We Are Integration, because this is IICTP is all about integration in our practice and about different things to put together to practice. But we are integration. We as human beings, and I love that part. So today we'll talk about. I'll introduce myself. I'll tell you what to do. What do I do? I'll talk a little bit about my business and what I do as a practitioner. Hello, come in. We just started. And then I'll tell you about my theory. That's the session will be all about my theory. What I think about how we are, how our clients are, and how we should work together and why. And I'll share with you my 5 values, which I think they are the core of who I am and what I do with my clients. And then we go to the conclusion, and then we'll have a few minutes for question and answers. Okay, let's start. So who I am. I am an Italian girl, hopefully not with a strong accent, and I am an International Coach Federation professional certified coach, which is the 2nd level out of 3. I am also Reiki degree level 2, again 2 out of 3. Good. And then I am a humanistic existential counselor in training. And I am passionate about health and happiness, because I think that whatever the clients are bringing when we work with them, ultimately, at the end, they want to be happy. They can call it success, money, family, partners, lack of problems, but it's happiness. That's how I call it. And I am a holist. I'm sure everybody heard about the word holistic, which means that I don't work as a coach, a counselor, or a Reiki practitioner. I put everything together, and I look at the whole world of my client. So when they ask me, are you a business coach or a life coach? I'm like, is there any difference? The person sitting in front of me, it's one. Regardless if they are executive or labor, they are one. And they bring their problems at office and their business problem at home. So there's no difference to me. Oh, let's start with the first integration. That applies to me because I wanted to know it better, but applies to everybody. So to you all. I'm Italian, yes, but I lived in 2 other countries. And that means that I was born and bred in Italy, but I have integration with other experiences, other languages, other people, other cultures. And that stays with me. So it made me a better person, a different person. So I am a coach. That means that I'm focused on communication and NLP. That's personally me, not all the coaches, of course. And a Reiki practitioner works on energy and healing. And that's a different level, because the communication is through our brain, but the energy, it can be controlled from our brain. So it goes to another level, which is generally this level, much lower. And as a counselor, of course, I have to know about psychology. And particularly my school was about naturopathy. So how to take things in a natural way rather than forcing things. And it was about body mediation. So working also with breathing, with meditation, with mindfulness, which again, nothing to do with communication, but they work together with it. Health and happiness. So that doesn't mean that sometimes I don't have junk food. It's I can be angry, that goes up, so I'm more surprised than anything else. So again, this is one part of who I am, but there's much more. And that's because I integrate everything in one. And I'm a holist, but of course I am everything else. So again, unfortunately for my kids and my dog, but again, I am the integration. I represent whoever I met in my life, whatever I did in my life, and whatever I studied and learned in my life. So Aliavis is the name of my business. And that's the logo. I designed it. It's nice, I like it. Again, I love the idea of a circular thing, something that comes and goes. And I set it up in 2013. It is, of course, about holistic services, because that's what I love to do. And that's a key word for me. That's why I'm part of AICTP, because that's what I love to do. In Latin, alia vis means the other strength, and that was very important to me, to find a name that represents me. Why the other strength? Because the first strength, it's within ourselves. I can only be the second one, and I love that concept. When I sit in front of my clients, I have no doubts at all that they will succeed, and they feel it. I met some coaches that sometimes make some comments like, oh, I have to tell them what to do. Wrong. For me, it's wrong. They know it's somewhere inside there. We help them to bring it out. So I'm not giving them anything. I'm just holding the space, holding the structure, and through my skills, I'm kind of guiding them, but without telling them what to do. They come up with the answers, and they will always be the right answers, not mine. So there you go with my theory. Then I'll tell you why. Because before getting to this point, I felt incomplete. I thought, something is missing. I'm not happy with what I'm doing yet. And I was looking for an explanation of some of the great results that my client brought up. Because I've never looked at it as, well, I'm good. But I looked at what's working there, what's the spark, what's the magic that is coming, right? Because it's not about me, it's the combination of me and the client in that moment. So it's not about the coach. Lots of time they tell me, oh, Manuela, you've been great. And I say, no, we have been great. Because you did the job. You left this room, went home and made the change. And I love that. How have I done it? How did I reach to that point? Curiosity. That's my first characteristic. I'm absolutely curious about everybody and everything. Not in a like a gossip or things like that. I like to observe. I like to reflect a lot. So quite meditative somehow. And that helps because you let the information to come in, open mind, without any boxing and labeling, and never do this. It's wrong. Because that's our method of a catalogue, you know. It's not there. It doesn't belong to the clients. It's what we think. And it's about the parts that we are made of, the functions, the components, and the connection. And we go through these together during the presentation. So, how are we made? Do you have any thought, any idea, anything that you heard and you liked? Tell me, please. Sorry? Yes, physically we are over 60% of water. That already tells how we are flexible, right? Although we are matter, physically we are matter. What else? Think about how we work as human beings.
I was thinking of a lot of neurons.
Sorry?
A lot of neurons.
True, billions probably, right?
Yes, right.
We come around billions, but I'm thinking more about main parts, like the parts of who we are. It's very common to hear too, mind and body. You read it almost everywhere, in every advertisement of any services, mind and body, mind and body. The mind is, of course, sits here, right? And the body is this, the physical part of it, so the matter. But I always thought that there must be something else. It can't be enough. That's not enough. So I came up with something else, which is our soul. So when we say body and mind, there is something missing. We are forgetting something. Here is the explanation of the functions of it. I'll change perspective. So our mind, it's our computer, just like a laptop. What the laptop does, you give it an input, elaboration, output. That's it. Does the laptop add anything to your input? No, not adding. Changing, transforming, and somehow completing, but doesn't add. So if you say make 1 + 1, it doesn't add another 1, right? So it's just processing. The body is the machine. It's just matter, physical matter. matter. The soul is who we are. And I think that was a massive thing for me. Where is Emanuela when she works with her counselor or her coach? I mean, I go to a massage and I work here. I go to a coach or whoever and I work here. When and where am I going to work here? And that's what I felt was the missing part. This is me. I'm not this. I'm not this. That's not you. But lots of people think that all the thoughts that are coming, it's me. For me, no. So I came up with a graphic. That's the computer, of course. What's the machine is what actually the coach take the name from. It's something that takes you somewhere. But the body is not deciding how am I going to feel. And the mind is not deciding how am I going to feel. I am deciding. So I'm feeling. And then we will see later with the connection, how does it work. These are the three main parts. And then we have two more parts, which I think are really important. One is called care. And is the part where we take care of ourselves. Is the plug that we, or the switch that we do on and off based on how we feel, right? And then we have a database, memory, which is just a physical storage where we throw all the thoughts. And the important thing is the parts could have been like intuitively found, but how do they work actually? That's how I came up with an explanation. Think about the mind as the operation manager of a company. What an operation manager of a company does. Gives instructions, right? But who is the CEO? That's the CEO. I have to decide what's happiness for me, and you make it happen. And then this carries our emotions and thoughts physically, wherever we want to go. So it's a little bit like an HR manager. That's the HR manager, because that he has to say to my legs to move, to my heart to beat, and to my hormones to be released from an instruction that comes from here. If you have any question, guys, feel free. This is how it works. So, the soul, so me, or you, each of you, can send instruction to the mind, right? And the mind is just receiving. I think there was some kind of pointer in here. Yay! And it's one way. The communication can just go this way. Because a computer can't tell the person that is working on the computer what to do and how to feel, right? It sounds wrong. So, one way. Same from the body. The emotions that we feel, they're channeled and they are communicated through our body. They're not coming from there. That's a space with no emotions. It's an energy, it's a fluid. But the emotions are here. How do we feel it? Or, it's here. But these two talk a lot. If I'm sad, this is going to be affected. And if this is heard, that's going to be affected as well. So, but he's just a receiver. He's just receiving information from this side. What about the other two then? The care is controlled only by our soul. I'm sure lots of people experience that. I did, at least. When we're not okay, do we really take care of ourselves 100%? No. There is always something we do. Some people have junk food we know that we shouldn't have, but we do. Some people drink. We know that it's not good for the body, but we do. So it's directly linked. Not okay, affecting. And of course, these two are in the same boat, let's say. What about this side? The computer does all the operations, and what it does is to store the result of the operations in here. I call it, with my client, when I work with them, I call it the luggage. So this is the luggage with memories, informations, results of things that we've done in the past, and they are stored there. They're not meant to come back because we have to live the present. But they are there. So even if we forget about it, they're still there somewhere. And then let's see when it doesn't work, because ideally it should work every time like this. But the moment of the disconnection, it changes the cards on the table completely. So, ta-da, something happens. Anything can be anything. That's why I don't ask to my clients, what's your goal when you want to work with me? I don't care. It doesn't make any difference for the system. It makes for them, or for the coach that label herself or himself, but not to a holist. Makes no difference. There is a cut in communication, and that's where I work on. So, as you can see, these two become very, very small. So they don't have the same power, they don't have the same force to be in the system. This almost disappears, which actually that should be the leader. This is who I am. It should be big. And the body's kind of neglected a little bit. That's why the care shrinks as well. How about how they are connected then in this situation? There is still a connection, body-mind, that's obviously there, but it's the other way around. So it's the mind that tells, you stupid, you don't know what to do, you can't do it physically because you are less than that girl or that boy, right? And it should be the opposite. That says what I have to do and who I am. No, they have the same power. So that's already something that shouldn't work. There is still a link with the database and the memory, so it's still there, but it's the other way around. Oh, 25 years ago, I did this, I'm gonna apply it again. Wrong. It shouldn't happen. That was 20 years ago, with that person, with you, in that situation at that moment. That's it. The information is not needed to be brought back today. So many times some clients say, I've tried to do that 5 years ago. Do you know that every 7 years, each cell of our body, it's replaced by a new one? So who I am now, I wasn't the same person 7 years ago, physically. So how can you even think to apply something maybe forever and ever and ever? Right? So we kind of look like, but we have to age, so every 7 years, the cells have to be replaced. So the information shouldn't come back, especially to this guy. The communication between who I am and the mind is kind of disrupted. It doesn't really work properly because I'm not strong enough to give information. So I feel like, I'm not good, or maybe no, it's not the time, or I'm not good enough, I'm not confident. So it doesn't work. There's no direct link, there's no cable plugged there. And the same will be between these two. So the body becomes the victim, let's say, of whatever happened that side without any support. It's like being alone. Imagine that was a company, as I mentioned earlier. Could a company with 3 directors work if these two are doing nothing at all? And they are sitting on the side like this? No. Because we have roles, right? And if you don't do it, nobody else will do it for you because that's your role. So you are the HR manager and the operation manager can't do your job because it has a different role, has a different function and different skills. That's exactly how it is. And of course, as I mentioned earlier, when you're not feeling okay, there's no energy, there's no space, there's no almost time to think, hold on a second, my body's my temple. I'm gonna be strict with my super duper healthy and happy diet. So we can't. And that affects the system absolutely in a bad way, because if these two sit in the wrong place, they can't work. So let's go back to the first 3 points that I mentioned earlier. Why, what, and how. With what you've seen now, there is a different reply to that. So considering that we as a practitioners and the clients are made this way, that changes a little bit. So there's no judgment, there's no place for try harder, these kind of things, or you don't know, therefore I'll tell you, because it's quicker and it's better. There's no space for that, because we are the same, exactly the same. We just read more books. That's it. But we work in the same way. Knowing how we are built, it helps us personally, of course, in our life, with our family, with our duties at work and colleagues and everybody around us. But also it's a professional advantage, because you know what's going on the other side. If somebody is doing something wrong to their body, you know that the body's, it's not there. And if you hear things like, oh, I'm not good enough, oh, I'm sure I can't do this, the me, the soul, is shrink. It's, you know, it's much smaller. It's not confident, I would say, but aware of the power. And so you have to work on that. So that's the important thing. And it's just my theory, so it's just a new perspective, but I think it gives you some hints for reflection, because again, we always hear mind and body, but so are we just a machine and a computer? No. And that's when the Reiki is coming. Reiki is about energy, and our soul, it's energy. We can't touch it. You know, it's what the Greek were calling anima. It's the breath of life. You know, we have lots of names that come from religious things, but that's the sense. It's the spirit inside that gives to this matter, to these little bricks, an identity, something different, my personality. Is everything clear so far? Look a bit shocked. Are you okay? Do I need to ask for some coffee? Oh, there you go, my 5 values. This is one of the biggest things when I work with my clients. There is no other things in my head at all. I am physically, emotionally, spiritually there, and they feel it. Maybe not consciously, but unconsciously they feel it. Sometimes, and that's in the beginning I found it quite shocking. Then I realized what approach I have, and I understood why. I could tell them before they were telling me how they were feeling, and I could say, for example, oh, you look a little bit nervous there, although there was no physical, because, you know, I have to tell you something. An Italian person is really, an English client is, I'm having problems and I don't know what to do. Like, in the beginning I was like, oh, there's no body language in here. How can I read that? So then I learned, and I could go through this, and it's a cultural thing. In Qatar was different. And you know, every culture has a way of expressing different emotion. That's normal. And that's the beauty of it, actually, because you need to challenge yourself every time. So, but I could feel, even like through goosebumps or butterflies in my tummy, and I think that was the sign of a connection. So look for that, because that doesn't lie. The mind lies. The mind can tell you lots of rubbish coming from everywhere, parents, bad experiences, judgments, but the tummy can't lie, because there's no rubbish in here. There are neuronal cells, big like a cat brain, in our intestine. Do you realize that? We have the intelligence of a cat, and they don't look that stupid to me, in our tummy. It's beautiful. I find it beautiful. So that's our second brain. They discovered that the third brain, which is much smaller, it's not like an independent animal, let's say, but it's in our heart, because the heart has to beat regardless to my thought. I can stay all night thinking, stop beating, I can't, because it doesn't start from here. There are neuronal cells in our heart. That's again fantastic. I find it, wow, like, oh, surprise. All this just for the presents, by the way. So be there. Try to, just like mindfulness and meditation, take your mind back. Oh, maybe the client has had a problem with her wife. Take back. That's not the right solution. Did she say that? Did he say that? No. Then stop it. And don't ask for it. Don't say, did you fight with your wife? Because that's your solution. It's not there. What happened? And they will tell you, oh, I had a fight with my wife. If they don't mention it, it's in our brain. And that's wrong. Because we are kind of taking them, may I pull you? And do, come on, come with me. That's all right. We have to go with them where they want to go. That's more important. Otherwise, it's our game, not their game. They are paying us. That's a big reminder. They are paying us. We're not paying them. Attention. You have to be, well, sorry. Rewind. I am very, very, how do you say, attentive? Thank you. To my body language, to what I say. I'm very keen on NLP and communication. So very, very careful when you ask for questions. Briefly, in the beginning it will take some time, like you have to think about it, but after a little bit it will be automatic to say, not, are you angry? Are you upset? But again, how do you feel? So very careful to be precise in how you sit, open, don't cross legs, and don't do this, because that means I don't care about you. Unconsciously, not here, because they know that you want to work with them. But if you are like this, then you're kind of saying, either I'm protecting myself from you, or I don't want to work with you. So the right, ideally, let's say not the right, but ideally, sit down and our hands have to be in our legs. Do you know why? Have you ever read that? The two parts of the body, through our brain, they get connected. So if I'm like this, and you all see me, if I'm like this, I'm not connected. If I'm like this, I am. And that linked with the ground. So it's fantastic. You sit down, shoulders not too much, otherwise it's like, come, I'm coming to save you. And not like this, because like, oh my God, I don't know how to help you. It has to be, you have to feel it, you know. In the beginning you can fake it, but then it becomes your attitude. And open, come to me and we'll do it together. That's the message you want to give, no? And correct me if I'm wrong, isn't it the message that you want to get when you sit down and work with someone as a client, right? You don't want the presumption, oh, I'm coming, yeah. And you don't want the other one, like, oh my God, what's your problem? You want someone that says, whatever will happen, we can make it, no? At least we try to do that. That's beautifully important. And I think it's linked with Reiki, but also with our brain, with our body, with everything. How can we even think to achieve something without that? And I linked this with what I said earlier about the coaches. How can a coach really think that can get results? And when I say about results, I said, I mean permanent results. Not something like, for example, an executive goes to an executive coach, and the executive coach thinks, that's a stupid, I'll tell you what to do because I have 20 years of experience in corporate business, right? Is that the solution of the coach, or the coachee? No, it's the solution of the coach because she or he has experience, therefore is the best. But my question in the beginning when I started studying was, how can somebody else's solution become your real learning? Think about it. If I tell you, well, you should do this, you might immediately think, well, it might be the right thing, especially when there is a therapist, coach, client relationship. They tend to trust us because, well, I'm coming to you because you're better than me. It's not true, but are they going to actually develop these as a permanent solution, as a skill, as a value for their future? I'm not sure. Whether if they get to the point where they say, well, hold on a second, after 5 sessions talking, I realized that my problem is that I have whatever you want to, and I shouldn't have done that. That comes from bling bling connection, and that's a learning for them without you actually doing almost anything, and that will be a permanent learning, that's a tattoo. Like the famous insight. It's a beautiful moment. Have you ever experienced insight? When you see your client light up, like, oh, really? Oh my God, what have I done? Or on the other side, which is even better, wow, I changed the dynamics in my house just because I decided to speak with my husband in a different way. And you feel the magic there, and you're happy for them. So that's very powerful. I want to help them. I really do, deep inside, from my heart. And they know. Even if I don't tell them, they know, they feel it. I think that was quite clear already. I'm passionate about my job. I think that's the job that I had to do. No questions. And I struggled and I did everything I could just to get to this point. And it's hard, as you all know. But I think that the easy part, it comes when you find who you are. That becomes beautiful. Because when we, in the beginning, I can't generalize, but everybody tried to be like someone. Then we go to the step of trying to find our mentor. But then the third part is when you actually find what you like to do, how you want to communicate and deal with your clients. And that's beautiful. And it's there. It doesn't matter if it takes 1 month, 1 year, or 5 years. But that's the target that we have to aim at. And it's our place. And evolution. If we don't evolve as a person, as persons, and as professionals, we are dead. There is no future. We wouldn't be here talking now in 2018 if nothing would have been evolving. Nothing, right? We started all like stardust, and now what we are. Well, let's not go through this because there are a few things that I would just forget about in the world, but I hope nobody's perfect. So I base everything I do in this personal life and professional life. And again, there's no difference. I had a kind of discussion with a colleague friend not long ago when we were Skyping. He's Italian and he was in Italy. We were Skyping and he said, I was talking about a challenge that I was having that day. And he said, are you talking to me as a coach or as a friend? And I just changed my face. I'm like, is there a difference? Because I'm surprised when people say, now I am Emanuela, now I am a coach. No, I talk with my clients as I talk with my kids. And that to me is a sign that you believe in what you're doing, you apply it, so you can be an example for them, and not just a sticker, that's a coach. So we have to be who we are, if it makes sense. So we have to find who you are, and then be that, and nothing else. So I have a question for you, and I have few gadgets to give away if anyone gets the right answer. I'm sure you will. How can I be the best possible practitioner? That's a big one, huh? Try to think. Give me your. Please.
Take care of your own soul.
That's a beautiful one. I agree with that. Anybody else?
Practice what you preach.
Sorry?
Practice what you preach. Kind of work on yourself first.
Exactly, yes. That's another good one. Please.
Get really comfortable in who you are.
Yes. Oh, you're very good, guys. I have to give all the gifts away. I'll do it after I have them. Now, my reply would be a client many times. Because only being a client, and I'm saying this as an ICTP, but shh, don't remind me of that. You can train for 15 years, you can have 5 degrees, 15 courses and 25 master and whatever research, but you are nothing if you don't develop yourself. You are just like the same person before with 15 diplomas. So be a client, try things that even you don't agree with, somehow. I was very skeptical with psychoanalysis because it's something that used to work a lot of time ago. I went there and I had a beautiful experience. I thought, how can I lie down on the sofa while I'm talking to you and you are on the side? You know, as a coach and a counselor, it's very important that I'm like this, I can see you, you can see me. I'm not aggressive, it's not too close, but I'm not, bye. So I have to be almost in aura. Do you know what the aura is? So I have to be, the two auras have to kind of touch, because I have to perceive the client. So in that case, I was lying down, he was there, and he was talking. I was like, because I had to see his reactions, but again, it was a beautiful experience. He gave me something that I would never did, not to look at him and kind of deal with my own reactions. So try everything. Of course, not illegal things. Everything legal, please. But try everything, because that's the only way. Yeah, did you like the reply? Conclusions. These are my thoughts that I would like you to read and take whatever you think is important. Although I said even if you have 15 diplomas, you are nothing without development, but if you don't read, if you don't learn, you don't know how you work. Therefore, you can't help anybody else, no? So be curious, observe and reflect a lot. Lots of times, my kids come in my studio and they look at me like, what are you doing? And I'm like, thinking. And they think that it's silly because they're like, Mommy's crazy. They close it, oh God, she's gone. But it's true, if you don't stop and you keep doing things and cooking and thinking, and how can something come back from the era when we store informations? It's like a little bit what will happen in the next few days. You've got lots of informations today, but if you don't stop and either read the notes or ask for the presentation or do things like that, it will be gone. Gone. Literally, physically will be stored by our brain somewhere, but will not be recalled because it's not so important. But if you give the time to kind of sink and digest it, that will be a permanent learning. So do all the things that you think are important. Know yourself, as you guys said, really important, and allow your parts to connect. Only by knowing yourself, you take the mind, take the soul, take the body and say, hey guys, you need to talk. So otherwise it's a mess in here. Do plenty of personal development. So professionally is of course good to keep your credentials and your CPDs and things, but that's the other half. We need the other half. Engage with yourself. I've heard a couple of times, it's very rare I have to say with my clients, but I heard a couple of times, let's not get there because it might be painful or it might be bad. You have to respect the client's need, of course, so you don't have to get there. But when it comes to you, go there. Because the body will keep sending you signs saying, hey, you left me here with this big problem. Can you please save me? Can be aches, can be headaches, can be bloating, can be anything from the body that we always assign to, oh, that's a medical issue, that's the... But the brain, don't forget, that is connected to every single part of our body. So when science says, we don't know the reason, to me, when I'm on my sofa, I'm like, there you go. It might be linked with the psychological side because that's connected. Here, I have the receptors connected to my brain. So how can, if I have something painful here, or here, or here, or here, not be connected with the brain? So allow the parts to connect and engage with it. Today I am angry. You have to say to yourself, because 1, 2, 3. The body has told you what it has to do, and it's gone. It doesn't need to insist. It's like your kid or your dog. Hey, I'm hungry. I'm hungry. If you don't reply, we'll keep doing this. Can be here, can be here, can be here. Mom, mom. So listen to it and engage with it. I think I'm not the first one that told you this, right? this is now. There's no yesterday, there's no tomorrow yet. Now. It's fantastic. We don't need to think. Past is gone, future is yet to come. So, now it's your time. Now, if you need to slap me, please be gentle.
I'd like to give you a round of applause, but I don't know if you
Oh, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Please.
The hands on the legs.
Yeah.
Where does that come from?
Grounding and connection between the parts of the body. I was told from one of my professors, I'm dragging something with me, from one of my professors at the Holistic Counseling School. So ideally we shouldn't have high heels, right? Ideally, because we have to be connected with the ground. For example, this is the wrong chair for counseling. Because what, have you ever read something about body language, right? What does it mean that?
You don't care?
Kind of, yeah. Can be either, whoa, that's a bit too much for me, or, so the chair, can you all see me? The chair has to be, your back has to be straight. For two reasons. One is respect for the upper, and the second is the connections. If we kind of, bend this way, there's no flowing inside of energy. We block it. This, and then feet on the ground, ideally, but if we have, of course, high heels, it's not going to be like this. And this is to connect both sides of the body. Do you know why? Because touching here, the left part of my brain lights up. It's like, oh, I felt something. And if I touch here, this part is lit up. So they are both like, something is going on, let's stay with it. And of course the breathing. We can be maybe a little bit excited about a specific client, or scared, because sometimes like, oh my god, this person is kind of, I don't know, expecting a lot. And then of course smile. A lot to smile, guys. I think today you've seen me smiling millions of times. It's beautiful. It's a way of saying, come to me. Stay with me, engage with me. Even with myself, I do it in the mirror. When I'm in a bad mood, I look at the mirror like, and then I look at myself, oh my god. But then you laugh, even if it's a fake one. Yes, please.
I'm just curious about how, if you're in a scenario with a client,
Mm-hmm.
do you, because you have so many resources in terms of tools and
Mm-hmm.
what you offer, can you combine Reiki, particularly just in Reiki, the energy that you use, with the humanistic sort of side of counselling? I mean, I'm
Yes.
just interested in how that could be
Yes.
implemented if you do that.
Okay, what I do, I'll share my experience. It can work, or it might not work for everybody, but what I do is that it depends on the moment that I am with the client. For example, if it's a moment where they have to explore, then the counseling, it's perfect, right? Because they have to open up, they have to share, they have to tell me what happened and how they feel. Then when it comes to helping them to find their own way, as the coaching. Because the coaching, what does it do? It's like what's called the tool of the surgeon? Scalpel, yes. The coaching does this. Not necessary, cut it. Not necessary, cut it. The Reiki comes when it comes to emotions. If the client is scared, if you activate yourself, do you have experience of Reiki? Yeah. You have to activate yourself, right? You have to say, I am turning my Reiki on. I'm on with you, I'm using Reiki for your benefit. You think that, and that's the instruction to your body. And you are connected. You can share this with the client, but I never do, because I don't like to interrupt the flow of the client just to tell him, hey, I'm switching my Reiki on. Silly. But that's the moment when you feel, and then if you are open with your Reiki, you feel much more, because you are on. With this, you switch this on, not only this.
So in a sense, it's
Yes.
something that you
Yes.
use for yourself to help with the client.
Yeah.
Because as a therapist, you do feel a lot of energy in the room.
You do,
And
yeah.
you can call that transfer, we can call lots of things, but it is energy.
It is.
And it's interesting how that can be used.
sometimes even when they walk in, I don't know if you experience that, but when they walk in the room, you just feel like either boom. Of course, you don't tell them, oh my God, it's a rock, it's a massive rock. But you say, I can feel, that's what I do. I can feel a different energy from last time. It can be in a positive way, right? Maybe the next time they come and they are kind of in peace, and then you're, hey, that's a good energy, tell me about it. So you use the Reiki permanently. It's there. We just need to, or whatever other skill you have. You know, there might be other things that you've trained for, and then you can use it. It's integration. It's let's not box things just like the clients or label what I'm doing. I'm this. No, you can be anything you want, and the results on the other side will be much bigger because you're working on the whole thing rather than my arm. Like I go to the doctor, like, hey, I have pain in my shoulder. Some chiropractors or osteopaths, they might know that you have a nerve trapped in your bum if you have a shoulder pain. And you, the first time was like, what? I'm coming here for my shoulder. But everything is connected. Literally, believe me. Everything is connected. Even people. That's quantum physics, but it's a bit too much for today. But so remember this, and you'll be fantastic. Well, you are already, so just grab it on, please.
You know, when you use your Reiki, I don't know much about it, but I'm just wondering, do you use that energy to hold the client, or do you send energy as well? Like, do you send...
The first thing I do is receive. Because you will, if you practice a little bit, or even if you go as a client, you can feel that there is a change in energy. Right? It's like the energy is made of waves, just like the radio waves, you know, the magnetic things. So if you are in how can I say this, in receptive mode, then you feel it. But if I'm cooking, I'm not kind of receive. You know what I mean? You have to be aware about it. You have to be conscious, and that's what I do. The moment I sit down, I decide to open up, and then you feel. You can also stand back, especially when you see that they are kind of struggling. That's what I do when I see them almost panicking or kind of suffering really while they say bad things. Inside me, I think, I'm sending you Reiki. I'm sending you Reiki. You can do it, Paul, Tina, whatever, with their name in my hand. So I'm working on both sides, you know, with my brain, with my body, and with my soul. And it's a massive thing, massive. You learn a lot as well, not only the clients. What time did we do? Nobody told me any
One more question.
yes, please.
Just a question. You know, when your clients come to you, do they know you do Reiki?
Well, well, generally yes, because they saw me either from some websites or from other clients. So they know that I do that. But they don't come saying, hey, you are holistic, and I'm coming for that reason. At the end, they say that my last client was not actually the last client, but he said, I heard that my friends are going for coaching for 4 months, 5 months, or a year. I came 5 times and I changed my life. So he kind of told me, what have you done? And I'm like, what have you done? I just gave you all the knowledge I have, all the skills I have. And I'm holding this, I meant the room. I hold this space, and this time for you. Do you know what I mean? It works much quicker if you use the whole thing.
Yeah, because I do Reiki. I wasn't saying that was you. It's just that I was taught to ask the permission to use it, or if I'm going to.
But that's not for, you're not using it for them. You're using it to perceive. You can actually send it again, and they know you are a Reiki practitioner. But the most of it is for you, because when you pass your hands on the client, the scanning tells you what's going on. So you are receiving information, and then you work on it, you know?
Okay.
Same as the coaching. I ask you, what is the problem? If I don't ask you, then I don't know. So most of the work is, it helps me to understand what's going on the other side. But then, of course, you can send them. Reiki it belongs to the universe, not to me, not to you. So it's something, a gift.
I had another question actually, because my counsellor, she's a Reiki practitioner, and I I asked her a question, but she wasn't sure of the answer, which was that let's say, okay, so we've uncovered something really painful.
Mm-hmm.
Could she then shift that energy by doing Reiki? Could she shift something within me just through Reiki without me addressing it psychodynamically? Or, and then my question to her was, am I cheating? Because obviously I want to process it cognitively.
Well, my reply as a holistic person, it means that it's not solved, right? One of the three aspects is cured, but you're not healed.
So the
Because it's
energy-
like, it's again, do you remember the three areas? It's like I work only on this or on this. So you have a fix, let's say, but there's no healing as such. It's just like, I have headache, oh, take ibuprofen, oh, I feel good. No, you just stop the symptom. But the cause is still there. Might not come up in an hour, but it might come up in 3 weeks or tomorrow. Do you know what I mean? That's a huge difference. That's why I like natural thing, which take you to healing, not to fixing this problem. You know, if you watch a TV, you're bombarded by fix. Take this for the flu. Take this for the sneezing. Take this for the coughing. Yeah, but what about what caused the coughing? Which could be psychological somehow as well. So do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You fixed one of the parts, but if you don't do the whole process, then it's not 100%. That's my opinion, of course.
Yeah. So psychodynamically, if you release something, you could argue then energetically something shifted. However, could you also argue you've released something psychodynamically, but there's still something energetically living in you? Could that happen
Yes.
as well?
Because there are 3 different levels. So you're just working on one, but you're not cleaning the whole thing,
Right.
right?
Thank you.
That's it, guys. Happy?
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Oh, I forgot. Who gave me the replies? 2, 3.
I'm beginning of that. Very cool. And